what is the process that gets you to the final, this is our unique story and this is what will sell come Kenya, South Africa, Nigeria, or Egypt, or wherever it is across the world?
What I've noticed, I mean, we do a lot of Q&As with the founders of the companies or the brand themselves, if it's an artist or politician. We ask, I love such sessions because I ask a lot of questions until we come up with something that is unique to them. So it's not a one-day thing, it's a process, and that's why probably they need branding and PR people to come in and help them.
Yeah.
But it's a process of where we ask questions, we ask you, so what's so unique from you? What will set you apart from the next person who sets a kiosk next to you? And somehow, as I'm telling you, you will find that each and every human being has something very unique, or they have a unique idea which they are doubting. But then when you keep asking that question, it comes out. And then you tell them, aha, that's it. Let's now leverage on that. Let's see how we can communicate on that. But I mean, of course, people have different, you find people have different things they want to showcase, but yet we can now focus on a particular thing, and that's what we...
Is that a problem when they have very many different things to
Yes,
showcase?
yes.
And why is it a problem?
Because you will confuse your audience. So it's like the people make fun of from Central Province, who someone is doing marketing and then the next day they're selling padlocks, you know, such. So it's just,
Okay.
yeah, so you confuse your audience. People are like, we don't know this person, what this person is all about, or what this company is all about. So you lose it. Yet, in an economy like ours, which is still growing, you find people find their way there, but they are not a brand. They're just a business that is selling and buying.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that you've just highlighted that it could be just a business,
Yeah,
and not necessarily a brand.
Yeah.
So that's different.
Yeah.
And when we talk about, you know, brand visibility and ensuring that you constantly reinvent, you know, yourself. Like, for example, the whole world is currently going through the COVID-19 pandemic. And what ideas and whatever visibility you might have had before COVID and during COVID and perhaps even post-COVID, or of course it's going to be around for a long time, is different. And so how does one begin, especially as a company, how does a company begin to position itself to continuously and consistently rebrand itself without losing fundamentally what it's about?
What I've seen over the last, the last 2 years when we've had COVID, I think it's more of helping companies again go back and see what technology can they leverage on, but then taking their unique story and then merging it with technology, or taking their unique story and then growing it much more. So I think that's how I've been advising companies, and yet to see that things will never be the same again. So how can you plan for the next 10 years with what has happened, and you also position yourself in that space as a brand, as a small business. And there are many, we are in Africa, there are many innovations, we are very creative, so there's so much more that will come out from us. Yeah.
So this is a new business, a new company just starting out, and if you could map out, say for example, step by step, top 5 things or 10 things that you need to follow. You've already talked about very clearly, the first one is identifying your DNA, what your company is about. But if you could highlight what you believe are the most key and important things for a new business when setting up. They're new in the market and they want to create that brand, that visibility, that trust in the hearts and the eyes and the minds of their audience.
I think I'd put knowing your DNA number 1, 2, and 3 because I've seen it's a very what's the word? It has become a big challenge for many companies. They move on to the other things and they didn't know who they were, so it causes a lot of problems ahead. Yeah. So number 1, number 2, number 3, be clear on what you want, or be clear on who you are, or be clear on where you're coming from, be clear on why you're starting this company, be clear on what you want to offer to your audience, because if you want to really grow a brand, it goes beyond your making money, it goes beyond being known, it's deeper, it's more about maybe the passion that you have, it's more of what your calling is all about. There's a depth that need to come in when coming up with a business. Of course, people normally will come up with a business to make money or to pay something, school fees and rent, etc. And you can't blame them. But then on the flip side, be clear, because when you're doing business, there are months you will not have that money to pay school fees. So what are you going to do? You're going to close it. So be very clear of why you've come up with this, and that's why I've said number 1, number 2, number 3 goes back to the DNA of the brand. And I think after that is just mapping out your audiences, knowing the message, and I'm speaking now from a communication perspective, the message that you want to communicate to them, and how to communicate to them, the channels to use, and then how to consistently communicate to them and in a clear manner. Because sometimes you can come and you understand this thing, but then you want to communicate it, but you don't have a clear message. So clarity is also very important in terms of communicating. Then the other thing is what we talked about earlier, brand experience. Because one of the things as well I've noticed, especially with us, it's hard in Africa, or rather Kenya specifically. People complain a lot about business people not keeping their word. You said you'll bring potatoes at 2 p.m. You don't call, you bring them at 7 p.m. Such things. So think of the brand experience. Think of the experience that you're giving your audiences, who you now want to sell to, your customers or your clients. So the brand experience is very, very important. And then I think after that is consistency, which I talked about before, but that you consistently give a proper brand experience to your audiences.
Right.